Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tagging along. Just quick Q&A, what I've been up to, everything that's been going on. Right now in Arizona, hanging out with some other Skoolie people. Been obviously posting a little bit more, trying to update everybody on what's been happening. Basically, the main goal more recently was getting Tiny Home Tours YouTube channel up to date, as well as this one. I was reselling in Wichita. Wes had some stuff going on that he had to take care of, and won't go into details with that. I'm sure he'll be posting a video sooner or later, but he had some stuff going on, so we really didn't we got stuff done on the bus, but we weren't able to work on the bus as much as we originally planned because he had a bunch of stuff happening, like I said. But we might continue working on this bus and doing a roof raise when he gets down to Arizona this winter. For those that don't know, Wes and I put together a online course on what to know before you buy a Skoolie, what to look out for, things that are probably going to happen when you buy a school bus. And we're doing a companion course on how to do a roof raise, and that's going to be happening in January. So he'll be down here, got some projects on this bus, hope to get done, hope to work with him to get the bus painted. Might actually pay him to help me weld on some underbase storage for this bus. And more recently, I got a hold of my friend that does metal work in Phoenix, and he is going to help me put on probably an aluminum ceiling of the bus. Once he gets those parts ordered, he's going to get a hold of me. I'm going to pay for that, and then we're going to schedule time for me to go to Phoenix, get the ceiling on the bus. I'm sure plenty of people will be very excited to see that. I'm actually very excited to get the ceiling done. I mean, it doesn't really bother me the way that it is, but it'd be nice just to start wrapping up the final projects of the bus, being that it's been going on for so long. Hello to Captain Jack, Christina, Wild Willie, G-Reg. Have you ever heard a Sasquatch? Not that I know of. I hope I never heard one. Ellie, I got the course, was wondering when the roof raise was coming online. Yep. So Wes and I will be meeting up, do a roof raise in either California or Arizona, or maybe even Texas. He has some work lined up. A lot of people reach out to me to try and get a hold of Wes to do roof raises, but that'll be happening January, February, probably somewhere around there. Michael, you're wearing a torque. Is it cold there? Yeah, it's pretty chilly today. The sun's not out here in Arizona. But if you have any questions on what's been happening, any updates, be sure to leave it in the comments. In the community tab, I did let everybody know that this Q&A was happening 10 a.m. today, Arizona time. Had a few questions there. Jason asks, what ideas have you explored power-wise? Were there any pros, cons that drew you away towards those ideas? I saw your last video and spoke about Tesla power banks. Are they not obtainable when it comes to Skoolies? So power-wise, I am considering actually getting a generator. Right now, my engine, Cummins 8.3, is not hooked up to the lithium battery bank. I'll probably get that done here pretty soon. But what I'm finding here in the winter, especially when I kick on my water heater, my electric water heater, it really drains the system to where it has a hard time catching back up, because in winter the sun's out, less out. The sun is out not as many hours during the day as summer. Also, the angle of the sun makes it harder to get the solar into the system. So what I'm finding is it almost evens out day after day in terms of my solar power. It almost gets back to where it was, but it doesn't quite get there. So as the week goes, my battery just continuously gets lower and lower. And when I kick the water heater on, it just really draws it down a lot. And it's even harder for it to bounce back up. And overcast days like today, it's even harder when I have the iMac going, when I have the fridge. cycling on and off all the time. It's really hard on the battery. So I have considered getting a generator because it seems as though, if it was straight sunny day after day, no clouds whatsoever, I'd probably be fine. But that's not the way it works. So I have considered getting a generator because it seems like at the moment, every 5 or 6 days, it would be nice to have maybe an hour or two of extra power coming in, and that would bump my batteries back up, and I'd be good to go. But we'll see how that goes. Again, it kind of depends on Wes's schedule. See if we can weld on that under base storage this winter. But going back to the questions, I would probably get a generator that is ran on propane. That way I can keep this a two fuel source vehicle. I'd have the diesel and the propane, so I can just go in, swap out the propane tanks, and run the generator on that. In terms of Tesla power banks, I believe they're attainable if you get them from wrecked cars. I don't know if Tesla will actually give you any battery packs. Again, this is a question that came over from the community tab when I asked people if they had any particular questions. So what would you do differently on the next Skoolie build, referring specifically to technology, insulation, windows, power, etc.? But anything else you could talk about would be greatly appreciated. So that was Sinister Sparky on the community tab. To be honest, with this build right here, maybe I would just get larger solar panels instead of 2 banks of 170 watt panels. Just have longer panels or bigger panels all the way through the back. I definitely would go with either a propane or a diesel water heater. That was a mistake, getting that electric water heater. My power calculations were a bit off, and I just assumed that during the day I would be getting enough sun. But, like this morning I ran, and I'm all sweaty right now, and I'd love to take a shower, but I can't kick the water heater on because there's no sun right now. So I did make a mistake with that. The insulation's been actually great. Spray foam insulation's been working fantastic. Even with the Mr. Buddy heater in this bus, it warms up the bus. So the solar panels and the water heater are probably the only 2 things I would change about this bus. And the good news is I can change that about the bus further on down the road. One more question in the community tab. Jay, do you have an itemized breakdown of specs of your rig and build time and cost? Yes, so I do have a itemized breakdown of specs. I have it on my website, theoffgridskoolie.com. You can check it out there. Build time, I know the day I picked it up, which was October 20th, 2017. So just crossed 2 years of build time, and cost is around $45,000. So I'll get to the questions here on the right. Looks like they stacked up a little bit. 3XR5. Don't you dare cover up that custom ceiling in the bus. I know, right? I mean, there are no buses that have the same ceiling that I have. And to be honest, I don't even notice it. I don't even notice it as spray foam. I know people on videos notice it way more than I do. But I am excited to get that done. So no more comments on that. I guess people have more important things to comment on, like my man bun, my hair. There's always going to be something. LA, that'll be something. I'm doing a 20-inch roof raise in May. Awesome. My roof raise is 21 inches, so it'll be very similar to mine. Figo, yes, I'm in Quartzsite, Arizona right now. It is very chilly. Michael, pronounced toque. Yeah, I don't know what a toque is. Morning, Emily. Glad you enjoyed the solar talk. Angela, good morning, Chris, and happy Thanksgiving from Southern PA. Heading out to Montana in 2 weeks for the winter. Goodness, you're brave. Wonder if you're doing that in a rig. I love Montana, by the way. I am very excited to get back up there and do some boondocking up there. Montana and Idaho are some of my favorite states for sure. Emily, have you thought about switching to a propane water heater? I absolutely have. The tricky part is the way that my system is set up right now, it would be hard to get everything hooked up with the propane water heater, just with the plumbing of the propane. getting the system hooked up. I'm going to have to get that figured out. Either a diesel water heater or a propane water heater is definitely in my future. I'd have to say overall, that's probably the biggest blunder that I've made in the entire bus build was doing an electric water heater. White. Oh, Mike, 30 van life. He's been around since very old school Zep days. Hey, Chris, I'm at Lake Pleasant heading to Flag for the storm, expecting three feet of snow and have a good turkey day. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I hear Flagstaff is definitely getting pounded up there. Lake Pleasant's a pretty cool spot too. We were just up there not too long ago. Great boondocking. For those that don't know, north of Phoenix, Arizona, there's Lake Pleasant. There's boondocking. They have a marina up there. They actually just raised the rate for dry camping to $20 a night. It was $16 a night, and you're just parking in a dirt lot for $20 a night at the marina. But they do have water. You can wash your rig. You can dump your tanks. So if you're just looking to stay overnight for one night, it is worth $20. But hanging out there, not so much. I've got a monster 25 kilowatt Suzu genset in mine, diesel. Yeah, it sounds like a monster. I was actually talking to Aaron, the guy that I did the solar talk with, and he was talking about the Predators. And Predator has a 3,000 watt generator. You can get it from Harbor Freight. I was considering that and just throwing that underneath the bus, but we'll see how that goes again with welding on underbay storage, because right now I have no place to put it. Marcel, consider laying all your solar panels flat. Well, the tricky part, so what he's referencing is, like I said in the solar video, my panels run both driver side and passenger side, and they're at an angle because there's a natural curve to the roof of the bus. So at certain times of the day, one panel set will get more power than the other. And if I lift those up, make them flat, then more sun will come into the panels. But the problem with that is if those panels are flat, that allows wind to come up underneath those panels. And I could theoretically have some issues with that. Jim had panels ripped off his bus. Granted, his panels are massive, and mine are smaller, so maybe it might not be that way. But if I did angle those panels up, it would literally be like wings up there. So if I get strong crosswinds, it could damage the panels, and that'll be a lot of engineering to get that done in the first place. So I just don't necessarily know if it's worth it. I have considered just getting a 200 watt suitcase, which is just something that you pull out. It hooks up to your batteries. I've considered actually throwing 2 more panels on the roof deck itself, and just whenever I'm low on solar, just put the roof deck down, and that way the panels will be flat up there, so it'd be an extra 340 watts up there, or just get a generator. But we will see. Angela, what's going on with the tiny home coloring book? I need something to color these cold mountain days off. Yeah, unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunately. We tried to go with a U.S. printer with the tiny homes coloring book. For those that don't know, my team and I put together a coloring book featuring the people that's been on tiny home tours, a bio about the people that's been on there, and just a bunch of really, really cool pages. We hired all nomads for the artists, and tried to go with the U.S. printer. And once we got the cost back, it was literally twice the cost to print here in the States. So we are going to have to find other options. Otherwise, it's just not financially viable to do that. So that will be coming out in spring, and I'll be obviously mentioning that more when that comes up. But basically, it's just trying to go with U.S. printers would have been a $15,000 investment on top of what's already invested, and just couldn't do that. Juan Willie, check out the wrecking yards. I picked up an Onan 6.5 generator for $300. It's like brand new and came out of a motorhome. It was fire damaged in the front. Yeah, you can find used Onans. Onans are great generators. The reason why I'm thinking about the Predator is it can be ran on propane. There's a $100 kit that Aaron was talking about. So I'd be able to convert that Predator into propane, and that way I don't have to have, gasoline cans around. I just have the propane tanks and I have the diesel. So, and I know Onan actually has propane generators. So that is something that I could possibly look out for, because Onan has a great reputation. I've had great luck with him. Tony, what you need is a solar panel hooked up to the weather balloon so you can get above the clouds. That would be fantastic right now, because it is absolutely overcast here in Quartzsite. Shad, have you ever had any problems with the windshield cracking with that surface area in the front? Do you know the approximate replacement cost if you had to replace it? So what Shad is talking about is the front of the bus. The windshield has these two massive windows, and I actually have a chip in the driver's side. My brother was driving with me, and a car blew an engine in front of us, and pieces of the engine were bouncing around and came up and hit the windshield. But it is actually lower down to where it's, not an obstruction. It's not in the way of the GoPro or anything. But I don't think the repair cost would be that much, just because I know Tony at AAA Bus, and right now they're going through a program where they're decommissioning buses. So there are buses that are going off to the scrapyard with those windshields. So I actually probably should snag one of those before he's done with that program, because I don't know how much he'd charge for me. It'd probably just be my time taking that front windshield off and replacing it. But buses are everywhere. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a Skoolie build, because you can get parts anywhere. A lot of people can work on the Cummins 8.3. I mean, a lot of the engines in these school buses are very common. The transmissions are very common, and the drivetrain's just it's a tank. It's a truck, So lots of spare parts out there. Michael, what's your favorite whiskey? Favorite whiskey is definitely Jameson. I'm a big fan of Jameson. I love Scotch as well. So nice Scotch with a cigar is definitely part of my roof time antics up there after a long day. Randy B, painting the bus black and aluminum rims still in the plans. Yes, so the plan right now is to do black and white for the bus with the aluminum rims. So we'll see how that goes. I know a lot of people were saying it's going to be too hot. Right now, I would encourage some warmth. It was about 45, 50 degrees when I woke up this morning. And while I'm always traveling around, it is pretty chilly. Mike, I haven't noticed in a while, but is the 205 still on the window? So it's actually 0201 that's on the window, and yes, it is. That'll be there as long as I own the bus or before it naturally comes off. Something that I've developed over the years with YouTube is when people complain about stuff in the comments, it's almost therapeutic just to kind of play along with it and just kind of make it your own. So for those that don't know, when I first got the bus, it had 0201 on the front and back windows, and that is the number of the bus that was within the school district. And by law, the school district has to paint over the school district and the bus number. But to keep track of the bus as there's auctioning it off and selling it to people, they'll put numbers on the front. And this school district did just that, and I kept it on there. And people were complaining about it, so I just kept it on there permanently. And same with the ceiling. People always complain that the ceiling's not done, and all that good stuff. And I just kind of make light of it. It's the only way that I can mentally do it, to be honest. And it'll probably be the same with the man bun. My man bun is actually called Steve right now, because this dude named Steve, and he just made like a joke, and I was like, okay, I'm going to name it after you. So my hair, when it's in a ponytail, is called Steve now. And it's just more fun that way. Makes it fun for me anyways. Koa. Hey, Chris, do you think Sharon will ever ask questions not related to the cleanliness of your bus? That's a perfect segue. So there's somebody that comments on my videos named Sharon, and she is convinced I am the dirtiest slob that ever lived in human existence. And I'm sure if she was watching this right now, she would be talking about my coffee cup and my ketones and my cleaning vinegar. Like my cleaning stuff back there would be completely unacceptable to her, and I would be the worst slob in the world. And I just kind of make light with her too. So it's all just trying to make it fun. Betsia, how long does your fresh water last? That is very conditional, but typically my 200 gallons of fresh water will last a month or a month and a half. Depends on how much I'm showering, it really depends how much I'm working out, to be honest. When I was in Montana, I filled up, I was probably about 90% full, so I probably had about 180 gallons, 170 gallons, somewhere around there. And when I finally went to fill up my tanks, I had about a quarter left. So I went about 100 gallons in about a month and a week. So about 5 weeks. I went through that much water, and I was working out a lot. I was running with Kobuck about every other day. My drinking water with my Berkey. So I don't go through that much water. I can last a long time. And, you know, my showers don't really last that long, even when I'm, visiting somebody. I just realize how much water is wasted when you sit in the shower. So, I don't use that much water showering when I do shower, but it lasts a long time. Angela, not in a rig. Oh, so I asked her if she's going to Montana. She is driving to Montana to pick up with the new hubby. Congratulations on the marriage. Working on driving buses in Bozeman and Big Sky for 3 months. Awesome. I love Bozeman and Big Sky. Bozeman is one of my favorite cities in Montana. If you get a chance and you have a dog, they have the best dog park I've ever seen in my entire life in Bozeman. It was so cool. Michael, asking about all the booze. Do you prefer ale or lager? I am an IPA guy. That is the only beer that I drink. India Pale Ale. Jason, just getting in now. Hope all is well. Thanks, bud. Matt P, did you get the underfloor heating working good? It's not working yet. I'm still slowly filling up the radiant floor right now. So I'm still rocking the Mr. Buddy when I need some heat. Steven, top of the day from DC. Thanks for watching, bud. Emily, if you flatten your solar panels out on your roof, you could put skirting around them so the wind wouldn't be able to get under the panels. Absolutely. And again, that comes down to the engineering. Am I willing to put all of that up there, deal with all of that for an extra 200, 300 watts, or just throw 2 more panels on there or get a suitcase? That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Or just get a generator. During the summer, I'm totally fine. Plenty of sun. Running on empty. Good morning from South Carolina. I love South Carolina. Wide Willie, I converted to propane for $200 for your generator. I think you were talking about that, Onan. That's awesome. I might have to look into that. Jacob, hello from Holland. Snow for short run, lower volume printing. I do not think you would ever beat China. Yes, unfortunately, that is true. He's talking about the coloring book. Even with shipping, even with tariffs, even with everything, it was more than half the price of printing here in the US. Hello, Levent. RR Mar, taking a bath in the bus. Is it possible without having water stored? The only people that I know that take baths in buses is when they get to a spot where they can hook up, fill up as much water as they want and drain the water. So they'll go to RV parks and take baths there. I don't like baths. I feel like I'm just sitting in my own filth. So did not add a bathtub. Louis, how is your eBay? Did you watch other eBay YouTubers? I recommend Raking Profits, Craigslist Hunter, Bonafide Hustler, Rally Roots. So for those that don't know, I was reselling on eBay when I was in Wichita while Wes was figuring things out on his end. I think I'm just going to sell off all my stuff, actually. I enjoyed it while I was there, but now that I'm getting back into other pursuits, it's just not worth the time to list all of that stuff on eBay, deal with customers, deal with everything. It's just so much time for so little profit. I ended up making like $1,500 in the month, and I have a bus full of stuff. So I have a bunch of video game stuff. I have like 6 Wii's, 3 Xbox 360s, a bunch of controllers, like 4 PlayStations. I have a bunch of stuff, and I'm thinking about just actually selling all that off. I might keep a Wii to play. I did get a Dreamcast actually from a viewer, which I'll be showing on the next video probably. So I'll probably keep the Dreamcast actually. I might keep some of it just to play, but I'm just going to start selling all of it off and concentrate on other pursuits. But just as a side hustle, I learned a ton on products that you can buy and sell very cheap, like at estate sales. At one estate sale, I picked up Adobe Creative Suite software. It's worth like $150. A Video Mic Pro that sold for $117. And I sold a DJI battery that I bought for $4 for $78. So out of that one sell, I made like $300. So, there is profit to be made, and when you find your niches that work well, they are small, they sell well. So I might continue selling a little bit just as fun, but not the scale that I have been. It's just not worth the profit. The one that I really liked, that I learned the most from, was Cincinnati Picker. He was the favorite YouTuber that I watched. I learned the most from. Tomcat. Everyone is vying for worst slob in the world. Yes, absolutely. Grateful Days RV Life. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Louis, bonjour from Montreal, Canada. Hello, bud. Al the Pal, Thanksgiving plans. Yes, I'll be hanging out with Aaron and his family from Broccoli Bus. And then later on for Christmas, I'll be heading back to Indiana to visit family. Ellie, where did you get your tanks and how much money were they? So I'm assuming that you are asking about my freshwater tanks. I got them from a guy on eBay. I think he buys them from RV manufacturers in Indiana. He's actually from Indiana. And I think I paid $150 each for the tanks. And then I paid like $400 to have them shipped out to Arizona. So that could be wrong. If I remember correctly, I paid about a total of $600 to buy the tanks and have them shipped to Arizona. But well worth it, in my humble opinion, having that much water. I really enjoy not really having to worry about water anytime, and with power as well. Let me look through the questions. Jason, what are some things you do outside your rig? Run errands, work out. This morning, did a 2-mile run. I have a weight set up, so did some resistance training and go visit with people. Here in Quartzsite, they have, I forget what they're calling it, but they have a gathering over at Dome Rock. And I'll go over there and hang out with everybody. They have a game called Farkle that my friend Tile sets up. So just go out and be social. I'll work on the computer till about typically noon or 1. Usually start my day around 5 or 6. Work on the computer, like I said, about noon or 1. Then I'll go exploring, hang out with people. Steve, is your sheet metal skin cold or hot rolled? I believe it's hot rolled. It's 16 gauge steel. Mike, just a thought about filling the underfloor heating. Maybe disconnect your water pump temporarily and use it to pump water antifreeze into the lines. Yeah, I thought about that. Basically, I'm just going to slowly try and fill it. And if it doesn't completely fill within the next week or so, then start using other options. Wild Willie, yes, Onan makes propane conversion kits for just about all of their generators that run on gas. Awesome, I'll look into that. Jack, Don't become a rolling hoarder picker. Well, if it pays the bills, why not? Al the Pal, I've been trying to eat less meat, less dairy, definitely an improvement on how I feel, but definitely an adjustment. How does your dietary goals fit into your off-grid living? So that is a very good question. So part of being on the road, staying healthy, all that fun stuff, uh, the cornerstone of all that is how you eat. So when I'm out boondocking, first I'll go to grocery stores. I'll show you what I typically do. So after this live Q&A, I'm actually eating lunch. So most of my meals, if not every single one of my meals, is actually a salad. What I do is just get one or two of those before I go out somewhere. Now that I have the tow car, it's a lot easier just to get fresh greens. But I'll do a salad with that, with high fat dressing, typically Caesar, and then I'll throw some nuts in there as well as some sort of meat. And it's not a lot of meat. So for example, now I just have a chicken salad that I'll throw a little chicken salad in there, just mix it all up, and that's my lunch. Something that you can try, something that works well for me is intermittent fasting. So I have a window for when I do eat. Typically I wait till about 11 or 12. Sometimes I'll go all the way to 1, and then I stop eating about 5 or 6 hours from when I first ate. So if I wait till noon, then I won't eat past 6. If I eat at 11, I won't eat past 5. And basically my first meal of the day, that's my first solid food that I'll eat, either from 11 to 1 or somewhere around there. It'll be a larger meal. So check that out. And that helps living off the grid, because if you only eat 2 times a day, you have everything set up, you're good to go. And I feel fantastic eating this particular meal. Everybody's different. Figure out what works for you. Jason, I saw you tag Jocko on Twitter. Do you listen to his podcast? Absolutely. So Jason is talking about a guy named Jocko Willink. He is a retired Navy SEAL platoon commander. Actually, let me show you something. So Jocko is a very intense guy, to put it lightly. And just to show you this here. So that is my 5 a.m. alarm that I try and wake up to every day. So this is the alarm that plays when I wake up. Let's see if it works. Sorry. It's playing on my AirPods. But basically it's Jocko saying it's time to wake up. If you lay in bed, you're lazy.
So, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to get up and get out of bed. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hopefully you can hear that.
5,
but that's
6.
That's Jocko Willink, and it goes on for I think about a minute and a half of just like just telling you how much of a lazy bum you are for laying in bed. So that's my alarm at 5 in the morning. I've read, or I rather listened to his books. I listen to his podcasts. Very motivational guy. Like I definitely look up to Jocko, and highly suggest any of those that are looking to really get after it, get some motivation, and definitely appreciate veterans. That is the best podcast I've ever listened to. So hope you guys check that out. Hi from the UK. I'll answer a couple more questions. I was only going to do a half an hour. I'm thinking about doing these every Wednesday. Nomad Lifestyle. Oh, hello, Travis and Neil too. What is the best online nomad business to start? Man, I don't know it's going to be conditional on what you like. I mean, that's just like asking somebody what's the perfect woman to marry. I mean, it's going to be conditional on person to person, you know, like what do you enjoy? Do you love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Then start a business podcast, some sort of event that is centered around Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, it's totally conditional on what you enjoy and what you want to do. I mean, I love motivating people to get on the road, and I love living this lifestyle. So this is what works for me, but it doesn't necessarily work for you. So I think it's more of a self-audit on what you want to do. Hello, Lisa. Jack, beard trim looks good. Are you still hiding a man bun? Yes. Like I said earlier, its name is Steve now. Steve commented on a video. I think it was a solar video. And I named my man bun after him. Neil. Me and wife come over to the States in February for 80 months doing the RV thing. It's our early retirement present at 50. Congratulations. You are going to absolutely love it. Wonder if you mean 8 months. 80 months is a long time. But either way, congratulations on the retirement. I think you have a great time. Anthony, now that I know you are a Scotch drinker, a cigar smoker, I have an additional newfound respect. 18-year Macallan with a good perfecto. Absolutely. So what he's talking about is Macallan is a fantastic Scotch, and the perfecto is about as good as you can get. My, like, when I get all fancy, or I'm buying myself Christmas presents or birthday gifts, I will get a Glenlivet, probably a Glenlivet 12 with a Man of War is my two preferences. Last question before I got to get off here and get some lunch. How is Kobuk? Kobuk is doing very well. It sucks without him. I still wake up some days and expect him to jump up on the bed. I've been petting every dog that I can see, especially German Shepherds and Huskies. But just concentrating on work, compartmentalizing, all that fun stuff. I have been, when I see dogs for adoption on Facebook, I do get a little, makes me wonder. But I don't know how that's going to go. Nobody can replace the old Kobuk. Hey, Marvin. Marvin's been around for a while, but I appreciate everybody watching. Like I said, I'll do these, attempt to do these every Wednesday, maybe around 10 during the winter months. Maybe have some guests. Maybe have Aaron on here sometime, have Wes on here, other nomads that I meet, and just have random conversations. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll probably catch you next Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. Don't get all political, red tie, blue tie, all that garbage. They're just out there making money. That's what it's all about. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day.